Imagine your typical gym rat, a young guy who's consumed with fantasies about the perfect physique. He looks up to these great bodybuilders, and yet he's constantly struggling. He falls for hyped supplements. He empties his wallet, but he doesn't get any results. In comes Anatoly. Anatoly is wise, he's successful, he's perfectly built, and he's always known better. He's been doing the research for years, and he's been in this game since day one. He takes pity on these gym rats, and he wishes he could share the true secrets behind these supplements. But the reality is, if he were to have that honest conversation, the guy wouldn't believe him. He'd just think the guy was a gateway a gateway dealer to like steroids or something. He'd laugh. I used to think protein shakes were mandatory. As if it was something where if we don't have it after the gym within a 20-minute window, it was all lost. It was all game over. I sacrificed so much for protein shakes. The one I took was a mass gainer. Mass gainer is basically something where they add in a bunch of awful carbs with the protein, and it's like 3-to-1 ratio, and you gain more calories from it. And I thought I also needed this because they'd lied to me because I was skinny, and I was like, oh, I need to gain mass. So many lies. And I was taking this every single day, and it was awful because it wouldn't mix properly, and it was just, thinking back, it was absolutely disgusting. It was honestly closer to eating than drinking. It was all grainy and there were little bits in it. Like imagine that. Imagine you're drinking and there's just grainy everywhere. And even if you use one of those balls with the shaker cups, nothing's getting mixed properly. And then there was one day where I go downstairs. I was going to go to school. I sit down on my sofa and I just can't move. I have the worst gut pain ever. It's awful. It feels like there's something in my stomach and it wants to explode. And I don't move for the next 5 hours. Now, I don't think this is protein powder's problem, but that mass gainer, stay away from mass gainer. There's something about the thing they add in with it which makes it absolutely awful. Awful for your gut. It honestly one of the worst experiences of my life. And I continued to take protein powder after that. I would continue getting a different one every single day after the gym. I was getting too much protein back then, so I don't know why I was getting it. Now in hindsight, I can see that protein powder isn't necessary. And so long as I'm meeting my daily requirements, there's zero need. But that was not the only supplement scam I fell for. Anytime someone told me to take a supplement, I'd take it. I'd even do the research and it would show a benefit. I decided the benefit meant it was worth it. When there was better way to improve, I could have improved my training, I could have improved my sleep. I could have done so many things and then worry about the supplements. That was years down the line to worry about. In fact, I probably should have even put my business before getting supplements. And yet I did it. And even now, I'm stuck in a place where I don't know what supplements to remove because I don't know which ones are going to make a difference and which ones are going to ruin my life if I take it away. So here's a quick actionable step for you. If you are taking any sort of supplement, do a quick research on it. Look for scientific evidence on the claims. Don't just rely on marketing blurbs. And if you're taking protein powder, really consider if you need it. Consider if you're getting enough in the day. And if you are, you probably don't need it. This goes for protein bars, for protein puddings, for all of that. The problem with supplements is we have such an over-reliance on them for muscle growth or health or whatever it may be. And these are supplements. These are to supplement things. And not only that, but the difference they make is so negligible that the last thing we consider. I don't get why we rely on these things to fix our sleep when something as simple as drinking water, being properly hydrated, or going on a walk in the morning, or taking a cold shower, or meditating, or reading a book before bed, when these things are free, apart from maybe a book, but there's libraries for that, I guess, and they're going to do so much more for you than a supplement. So why would you turn to a supplement? It's like, what it genuinely is, and I'm going to say something quite harsh for a second, and this may hurt your feelings. And if it hurts your feelings, good, because it might help you wake up. taking supplements to help in this way before working on basic principles is like slamming protein and taking supplements without working out and expecting something to change. Like, sure, you may gain a small amount of lean tissue, but what's actually going to do it is getting in the gym, is getting under some heavy weight and moving it. And so really think about this for a second. Are your supplements making a difference? Yeah, I'm sure they are. But are they making as much of a difference as actually fixing a root cause and then worry about the supplements down the line? You've got to understand this, especially as it's all overpriced. There are so many things you can get naturally, which is being slammed up so much when you get it in a bottle. Like take multivitamins. These are something where you've seen how small they are. Do you know how much they actually put of the stuff you need in there? Barely anything, and the stuff they do put is really cheap and typically really available already in your diet just by eating stuff. The problem we also have is a lot of these supplements, there's no regulation. Like, a lot of them aren't third-party tested. It probably isn't 100% what they say there is. There's a lot of inaccuracies. And so, why would you even trust it? Like, down the line when you have money, you can get something that's been third-party tested, that's been verified, that's FDA approved. You can go for all these things. And you can find something perfect, which will probably be a little bit more costly. But you'll also probably need less because you've got actually things all worked out on your diet. They have bogus claims, man, these supplement companies. There's something, I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, but sometimes I scroll through and I'm scrolling through my phone and it's one of those like Reddit things where it's like, am I the ass? Like 18M. Like that sort of thing. And every now and then I watch, and it'll be an ad for something called the Kingmaker. And it's something where it's like genuinely every single thing that someone said has boosted testosterone put into one supplement. And it's like, man, I started taking the supplement and I became a king. Like, it felt like I was on top of the world. Everything changed for me. I went from 0 to hero overnight. Like, I gained 20 kilograms of muscle. 50 pounds of muscle. And it's like, oh my, this is not happening. Like, this is, and then people watch it and then they literally, I can sense them. I can sense you watching this, falling for it because you spend all day watching shorts or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and then literally running to Amazon to find the Kingmaker, thinking it's going to change your life, get you the gains you finally need. And I don't want you to fall for this. I don't want you to fall for the industry's tactics to upsell products that aren't doing much. It's awful. That's not going to fix your life. Getting more dietary fat, getting healthier sources of food will do so much more for you than the Kingmaker. Getting a proper night's sleep will do so much more for you than the Kingmaker. My sleep has been garbage for a large majority of my life. And yet when I took a testosterone test 2 years ago, it came free as 700 nanograms a deciliter, which is actually almost the like high range of the typical range. I think 1,000 is probably the max or something, or like 900. Depends which one you check. That was ages ago. My habits are nowhere near as they are now. My sleep was so much worse. And although my sleep is currently bad because I wake up to pee all the time, when that's fixed, which it will be, because I'm cutting down, think about what that number will actually end up being. Now, the Kingmaker isn't getting me to potentially this 1K. Good sleep, eating properly, living a good life. That's what's getting me there. And then maybe if I really want, I can take a supplement. When I've earned it, when I've deserved it. When I've pinpointed every aspect of my life that needs to be improved, then I can worry about taking a supplement or two. And as I say this, I do realize that behind me is some empty supplement bottles. Who knows? Maybe I won't rebuy them. Maybe I'll see what happens. Because, truth be told, I feel like I'm coping a bit. I feel like I'm holding on to the supplements I've been taking for a while when they aren't really helping. And so, the only things I'm going to keep are things I'm deficient in, or maybe ashwagandha during stressful situations, because, that's always good to just lower the cortisol. Well, not always good, but it's good at stressful times. But the other things, Tonka Ali, Tribulus, whatever, I've seen it not work on people. And so throwing it out when it's all finished, maybe it's a good thing to do. Maybe this is the next step I need to take. Although it's very scary and I don't know if I will. But I want to for you guys, and part of me making the video hopes that I will do it. But this whole like belief, I know you're sitting here and you're like, I need these supplements. I really need them to build muscle, Fletcher. I need it. You just take it away. For 1 week, see what happens. If your life doesn't fall apart, you don't need it. If you can put that money somewhere else, then do it. Like, I wouldn't take supplements for the rest of my life if it meant getting one of those like 8 sleep pods or whatever, which literally temperature control your bed. Because nothing could do more for me than getting one of those, trust me. I hate when it's hot. I hate sweating in bed, it's awful. You may even have a belief where you're like, man, these are expensive for a reason. Like you're trying to scam me out of an expensive product. They're not expensive for a reason. Just because something's expensive, it doesn't mean it's better results. Like a lot of the pre-workouts out there, a lot of the supplements are very, very high. In fact, I found a supplement company which sold a multivitamin, right? A multivitamin where they test your blood and then give you something tailored for it. And I literally watched a video. I found very, very similar amounts in a Boots multivitamin. A Boots multivitamin that was very cheap and wasn't very good, and yet they will make you pay thousands to have people come to your house, take your blood, calls with doctors, bespoke, custom-made ones. Like, they're just trying to take your money. I don't know why people don't see this. So here's a full plan of action you can take. Step 1 is you have to actually understand your body's true nutritional needs. And this is something you have to do through tracking your food. Now, I wasn't doing this for the longest time, but ever since the beginning of this year, I have been tracking every single thing I ate. And so I can literally have a report of the last week, and I can see on average my nutrients, not just the protein, carbs, fat, but every little micronutrient. And when I notice something's way too low, I know I need to add something in, or remove something, or switch something around so that I can actually get that higher. I'm not going to rely on supplements unless it's very hard to meet, like zinc and magnesium, which are some of the only things I actually approve of taking, because unless you eat like 50 lamb chops, 50 oysters, and a bunch of stuff like that, you just don't get enough magnesium. Step 2 is going to be actually investigating the scientific evidence behind your current supplements. And truth is, if you're taking something like Tonka Ali or Tribulus Tetris, whatever it is, which doesn't actually work for everyone, you probably should be doing a blood test. Like, if you're willing to spend money on a supplement and you're willing to get that extra bonus for your health way down the line, then you should be testing if it's actually making a difference. And when I say this, I mean literally adding one thing, only one thing, so it can be controlled, and then seeing if you have it higher down the line, or whatever it's supposed to do. Maybe it lowers some sort of hormone or boosts a sort of hormone. You should be checking down the line and bearing in mind, maybe other things are increasing it or decreasing it. So potentially even having a margin for error, like boosting by like 1% isn't enough. Tell yourself how much you want to let it have. Like literally write it down at the beginning of when you start taking it. And then at the end, if it doesn't meet that baseline metric that you gave it, it's not worth it. It really isn't. And then step 3, you got to prioritize natural food over supplements. This is most prevalent through protein powder. Get rid of it. Start eating more chicken, start eating more beef. The extra micronutrients in it will be amazing. It being, I know we say real food, and protein powder is real food, but it being something you can actually have on your plate, you can cut up, you can eat. That's actually valuable. Like, unless you're bulking and you're struggling to eat. Although, who bulks and struggles to get protein in? Like, think about it. My point was going to be irrelevant, that if you're bulking and you struggle to get enough protein, then you probably shouldn't be bulking. That's just true. So step 5 is going to be reinvest money that you're saving from cutting out these supplements into getting better food and maybe getting better equipment, whatever it may be, because that's what's actually going to change your life. Focus on the things that matter first, and then we can worry about supplements.